Welcome to Art with Lórien, the place to reconnect with your divine inner artist and discover the joy of painting outside the lines. And so welcome to episode 13. On today's episode, we will be exploring oil pastels. So this is an introduction to oil pastels, and I'm going to call it part 1. And so let's get started. I'd like to introduce the materials that you will require for this project, for this lesson today. You will require paper, and I'm using my Canson watercolor paper. It's a cold pressed paper, so it's kind of rough. And the other option is you could use your Bristol board, which is the smooth Bristol board, and we have used this before. We've used both of these before, and they're both on my materials list, listed both in the description to the video and on my website. And so either one of these is good. I'm going to use the watercolor paper. And of course you'll require a set of oil pastels. Now, oil pastels are sold in several different grades. There's a student grade, and there's like the hobbyist, and then there's the professional. And so like those three kind of general categories, there's various companies and price points. So this is a set that I'm using from a company called Pentel, and there's 36 colors. Here they are. And I would say that these are probably a student grade to kind of what I would call like a hobbyist or a beginning artist. And so they are reasonably priced, and there's another company that I really like. They're a Japanese company called Sakura, and they have a set of 50 that I've been looking at, and then there's some really nice professional grade oil pastels. There's 3 different companies, and I'll put some of those samples of the different oil pastels in the description to this video so you can see and what matches kind of where you're at. But these are fine, 36 for what we're gonna do. If you have the 50, great. If you have the 20, great. You basically want a nice array of oil pastel sticks. And then you will require your pencil, your eraser, or not, if you're not going to erase. And like before, we've used little stencils that can be traced and create circles with. So these are lids, and I've used these before, so if you can just find these around your house, that would be great. You don't have to buy anything special. If you do have a compass, you can use it, but little lids and things like this are great in a couple of different sizes. I have 3. And one other thing that you might pick up that's on my list is something called a stump. And what it is it's a little blending tool made out of paper, and it's kind of like a pencil, and it'll be used to blend. One of the great things about the oil pastel sticks is you can mix the colors like you're mixing paint, and you can blend them. So I'll be using this a little bit in this episode as well as next. And it's called a stump. It's on the list, and it's optional. I'll also show you that you can use a couple other things that we all have, which is our fingers, and if you have your Viva paper towels handy, I also have these that we can wrap around a finger and kind of blend as well. So you don't need to have one of these, but they're fun and they're a great little tool to pick up. And so that's basically it. And so let's get started on the project. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have your paper and decide how you want it to be formatted. So there's the landscape format and there's the portrait format. And this is also called the layout or the page setup. And I'm going to have a landscape layout. And I've gone ahead and drawn out what we're going to be doing already. And what I did was I just made a lot of curvy lines. So this is really about the oil pastels, learning the different techniques of light pressure blending, of stippling, of scumbling, of high pressure blending, and then using this little stump as well, and then our finger, and to mix the colors and layer and see what we can do with oil pastel. So this is a very simple drawing exercise where you're just going to take your pencil and just draw lines that are curvy, that come off the paper, that intersect, and throw in a few of your circles. So I have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. They can be these different sizes. You can, you know, even hand draw one in if that's smaller, if that's comfortable for you. And just, you know, throw in these little circles and have fun, almost like doodling and, you know, free form drawing. And this is going to create a great design where we can go ahead and play with our oil pastels and go ahead and lay down the color and apply the color and mix and have fun. So if you want to pause the video and come back when you have your drawing established, then we'll go ahead and pick up and have your oil pastels ready. Okay, so color schemes. I'm going to use warms and cools. I'm going to use warms together and cools together. So, for example, I'm going to start with one of my circles here and blend and mix my oils using the warm colors. And so, of course, here's my oil pastels, and they're arranged this way. I'm going to use these colors here. Okay, and there's even one down here. So I'm going to start with a red. And now the different techniques are basically light pressure. So just like it sounds, very light pressure. It's going to feel, now these are highly saturated paint sticks, but it's going to feel kind of like a crayon. So this is light pressure. And just like it sounds, light, the color is light. To add value, I'm going to apply what's called heavy pressure blending. I'm going to lay down this color with a little bit more pressure and strength and get that color in there. And I just want to say that after we do all the coloring, you can come in and outline your lines in black or a really dark blue or a dark purple to really have those lines pop and stand out and emphasize and contrast your colorful shapes and forms. So the lines will be, like, for example, you know, you'll just go right over the line with that black, just like it's a pencil or, you know, just like that. And so that's kind of where we're headed. And so back to the blending now. I'm going to bring in an orange because now I want to start to layering. I'm going to bring in an orange here and I'm going to put it kind of right on top, but also on its own. And what's really fun is, is using your fingers as one blending tool. Also, this blending stick, this stump, can come in and blend, which is basically like kind of mixing. Okay. Now it's really key, as you can see here, I want to show you something that just happened. See that black? That's from the black that I put down. So here's a learning opportunity. Do your black outlining after you're complete, and that'll avoid bringing in the black into your colors. I prefer that black wasn't there, but I'm going to find a way to get rid of it. And I just wanted to show you about this outlining, but refrain from doing it until the very end when we have all our colors laid in, and then go ahead and do your outlines. So what I'm going to do to get rid of this is, and this is just like an aside, I'm going to use my palette knife to kind of scrape up that color. This is something which is really cool. This is called sgraffito, which is an Italian word for scratching. And this is, I'm just basically removing it. I'm removing the color. And I'm just gonna tap that off here to the side. And so it's not erasing because there's still that orange, but I'm eliminating that black, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my orange back in. So that's just so you know, that's a possibility. You can also use a butter knife, maybe even your fingernails, but I don't really have fingernails. So I'm gonna go ahead back with my orange, and I'm gonna continue, and I'm gonna kind of color in here like in the shape of the circle, in this circle. And I'm going to bring in another orange. And again, kind of go right on top of it. Eek, there's that black again. Right on top of it, but also on the paper. So a little bit on the orange from before and a little bit on the paper. Now, another thing I want to say about oil pastels is if you are doing this layering and you get this black, let's say, it might get on your color. And so it's also good to have these towels here to wipe off and clean these. And that way you can keep your colors pure. So again, I'm scratching off this black that crept back in here. Okay, so I'll leave this out. Alrighty, so now I've got an orange, and I'm going to do my best to stay away from that black. And I'm going to bring in another orange and just continue. This is a goldenrod color. Continue to gradiate my worms and layering and coming back in with the stump. And kind of blend here. And then sometimes these sets come with a clear, like a neutral color. And those are also little blending tools. My set doesn't come with it, but I know that a few of them do, and you can buy what's called open stock oil pastels, and they are basically single colors, and your great art supply stores will have open stock where you could just replace like a single color if you use it a lot, and also get those little clear ones. They're like a blending oil pastel. It's a neutral clear color. Okay, so I'm layering, I'm blending, and I'm going to bring in even a brighter yellow in my worms with some high pressure blending, and I think I'm going to bring in the white. Okay. And then one more yellow here. A little bit more yellow here. And then I'm going to move into a cool color scheme. Okay, and this I thought it was a red, but it's actually a hot pink. It's a great color. Okay, so now I'm going to do a cool color scheme, and I've got this really nice blue. It's like an ultramarine blue. I'm going to start with that. And of course, when you use them a lot, you can start to peel the paper back. And I'm going to just bring that right up in here. Oops. They are fragile, like mine just broke, and that can happen. I'm applying a lot of pressure. And what's really important as far as your setup, I must say, I have this plastic cover on my table here, is have a plastic cover, or have some newspaper or other scratch like newsprint underneath your work surface, because these, even though they're non-toxic, it doesn't necessarily mean they'll come out of clothes or the floor, the carpet. So something to really take very seriously. So I'm just blending, layering, bringing in a variety of blues here. These are 3 different types of blues in the blue family. You can always use your finger to blend. You don't need to have the stump, but your fingers will get dirty. And now my light blue. This is a really great blue. So these are super fun. Kids love them. And the benefit I feel of using oil pastels is these non-toxic oil pastels is that they don't smell. And one of the downsides of working with oil paints, not so much these days, but still there's a little bit of they're very strong in the scent, with the mediums and the paints themselves. They can be, you wouldn't want kids to be using oil paints necessarily. So these are great because people of all ages can use them. And so now I'm going to bring in my white. I love using the white. And it really, I just had some yellow in there. It really, you can pull in your colors. Look at that. From the darker colors, you can really like pull them down. So I'm blending with my fingers here. Okay. Now white's an oil pastel you're going to want to really keep clean. As you can see, it's getting blue and a little bit of blue on it, and I'm going to be really careful with that black because I'm right on the edge of this black here. Be super careful. Okay. So blending with my fingers. Happy with that. And now I'm going to move on to a different color scheme. Also, maybe the purples and the purple reds. So there'll be a warm with the purple. So I'm going to get all my purples out here. Start with this purple. And I'm going to start with another circle. Yeah, just have fun with it. I mean, this is the kind of activity or project where you're going to be learning how the material works, how the medium works, how the colors blend, and you're going to be able to see with your own eyes the effects of high pressure and low pressure blending, and you'll feel, and you'll go through this process and hopefully enjoy the learning curve, the learning process of working with these. And just have fun with it. I mean, this is very organic. And okay, now I am going to do a cool, but in the greens. And you can have fun with where you put your colors. You know about the color relationships, the complementary colors, and so if you'd like to work with that, that's a possibility too. And so like I have the orange and the reds here, or the blues, and over here I could do like yellows to complement the purple, and that'll make the shapes and spaces kind of pop and contrast with each other like we've talked about before. So that's another possibility. And so just continue to work with your colors and play with your colors. And so as you can see, I've continued to fill in some of my patterns and shapes here in areas with a complementary color to purple. I'm going to go ahead and stop here for this episode. And so you're free to complete this composition and this exploration using your oil pastels, or you can tune in next episode and complete your composition with me, where I'll also be showing you a few more techniques using your oil pastels. It's up to you. So thank you for joining me. Until next time, I'll see you in the studio.